This is stupid. This is stupid. He's a racist. These stories are just unhinged. You talking about some foreign nonsense? I'll show you foreign nonsense. It's gonna get real nonsensical up in this. Hello, little enzymes. Welcome back to Dacia's Digest. The topic for today is going to be about parents overstepping boundaries. And the stories today are just quite ludicrous, really. All of the information is always included in the description. So let's just go ahead and get into it, child. The first story. My 24 female father, 46 male, refuses to come to my wedding because it won't be on American soil. I'm really upset, and my father thinks I'm being overly sensitive. The irony in that. The irony that you won't even go see your daughter get married, which hopefully is the only day ever in her life that this will happen, just because it's not on U.S. soil and she's the one being overly sensitive. Let's think critically here. This is from 2018, so just to provide some context. She said, some background, my father is a bit of a nationalist. He's a little much. I love my country, but not like he does. We don't agree on much, to be honest. My father wasn't around until my teenage years. My parents separated when I was 6. I planned most of the wedding with my mother. We decided, since I don't have many friends, a cruise wedding would work best for us. And it was well within our budget. I want a tiny ceremony and figured this would make it easy for everyone. I had told my father ahead of time that we were probably going to go on a cruise. He said that was fine with him. Skip forward to now. We're about 7 months out from the wedding and we're trying to put the down payments for everything we need now. I call my father to confirm information with him in terms of pricing and such, since he is helping us pay. He asks me where the stops on the cruise were. I explained that we were going to the Bahamas. He asked if any of those places were American territory. I told him no. He then starts hooting and hollering that his daughter is going to be married on American soil. He refuses to get on that ship and he's never leaving this country. Okay. All right then. Have fun in the U.S. because we're going to be in the Bahamas, brother. She said, and how he thought we were doing an Alaskan cruise. I was a bit shocked by this outburst and got a bit upset. He told me I was being too emotional. We fought back and forth for a bit and it ended with him saying, if you work hard to convince me and don't pout about it, I might change my mind, before hanging up on me. Now I'm just sitting here and I don't really know what to do. I want my father there, but I already set my heart on this cruise. So do I continue with it and just say, screw my dad, or do I spend the next 6 months begging him to come on this cruise with me? Girl, do you even if you convince him to come on the cruise, do you really want somebody with that mentality included in the festivities? Because if it's not one thing, it's gonna be another. Then he gonna get on the cruise, and then the whole time on the cruise is gonna be why you should have did the Alaskan cruise versus this cruise, because America better. Yeah, you got it, bro. You don't have to. I'm not doing no if you don't want to come, I'm not doing no convincing of somebody to come where they don't want to be. You don't have to go on a cruise. I promise you. And actually, you don't have to put no money toward the wedding at all. I'll figure it out. This is stupid. This is stupid. I've never heard of anybody have this type of gripe in my life, and then to have the audacity to say that she's the one being emotional, and you literally have your panties in a wad because her wedding is gonna be in the Bahamas. Does he hear himself? What the hell? Someone said, option 1 sounds so much better, referring to her just saying screw her dad. They said, if your father's support of your marriage is conditional on where your vows take place, he doesn't really care all that much about you or your marriage. I'm sorry. True. Another person said, your wedding is about you and your husband and no one else. Someone replied and said, agreed. However, OP, you made a massive tactical error planning out your wedding based on promises instead of cash on hand. My folks sent us some contributions to my wedding last fall, but it was given to us the previous Christmas, well in advance of the wedding and before we locked in plans. Unfortunately, I have friends who are getting married and they had to cancel their plans because a parent who was going to be a key benefactor reneged on paying what they promised. This kind of thing happens, so you may need to cancel or scale back what you intended in the Bahamas and come up with a plan B that you can afford. Opie responded, "We can definitely afford this without him. Honestly, him not being a part of the wedding won't change much in the ways of financially changing anything. Maybe a few less extravagant things, not that there is much." Well, that's good because the way I see it, actually don't come. Actually, you're uninvited. 'Cause what? Someone else said, "Don't know if this is possible, but maybe your dad just can't afford to help you or go on the cruise anymore." When reading it, it kind of sounded like he was looking for a reason to object out of, correctly guessed by you, pride. Maybe it's about money on his end, not America, or maybe he's just starting to petrify. No, come on now, bro. No, that's not it. First of all, she knows her father. Second of all, what kind of excuse is that to make up? Out of all the excuses you could make up, what kind of excuse is that to make up for wanting to get out of the wedding? Because then she could easily be like, "Oh, okay, well, we'll do an Alaskan cruise." What if she would have said that? Then he would have had no excuse. So no, I hate when people say stupid shit like, that's not that's not it. Opie responded, "I don't think that's the problem. He just texted me and asked how much he needs to send me, so I feel like he just really doesn't want to leave the country." Another person said, "I can only wonder how he'd react if you married a foreigner." Opie responded, "That's the funniest thing. My fiance is from Bosnia. The first thing my dad asked when I told him that was, is he going to I can't even say this, what he said. Is he going to do something terribly irrational to the country? That's what I'll say." Someone else responded, "Oh, I bet that's what this is really about. He's a racist. He's got just enough sense to realize he's not allowed to attack your choice of spouse, even though he hates the idea, so he's displacing his anger onto something more neutral, like the wedding venue. Yeah, you don't want him there, in my honest opinion." Opie responded, "Honestly, would not shock me." Someone else said, "You want your father there, the guy who you say you don't agree on much about and wasn't there until your teenage years. Maybe it's just me, but I don't think his absence will really be the end of the world. He's throwing a tantrum because he wants to feel like he and his views are the most important part of the wedding. That's why he wants you to beg for him to change his mind. Don't bother. Just say, okay, and don't bother calling him again. After a while, he'll start trying to contact you, trying to convince you to convince him to change his mind. Just reply, 'Sorry, Dad, I'm very busy trying to organize the wedding. Hope to see you there, but if you can't make it, that's fine.' Honestly, his nationalism sounds more like mental illness. It's one thing to be proud of your birthplace and another to refuse to ever leave the country. Don't indulge his brand of insanity. Have the wedding you want and enjoy it. Or if you really want to indulge him, get a jar of soil from a place you like and sprinkle it on a piece of cloth, then stand on it as you say your vows. There you go. You literally got married on American soil." Someone said, "As an American, I can tell you this, nationalism isn't that uncommon. It's pretty weird, but there are tons of people who think that every other country is garbage, and why bother traveling? It's very sad." Someone else said, "When it's so bad that you refuse to attend your daughter's wedding, that's pretty bad." Right, that is just ridiculous. Someone said, "I think my favorite part was when he refused to attend a wedding that was outside of the US, but had to ask for clarification because he doesn't actually know which areas are US territories." Oh, that is funny. Somebody said, "A racist bigots aren't exactly known for their educational achievements," and that is also true. Another commenter was saying that they read this story out to their fiance And the fiance was like, "What a baby." And then they said, "You never know, maybe he has warrants." OP responded, "Unsurprisingly, my father is a felon. He's very long off from his sentence. He's no longer on parole, and laws are different when on a cruise when it comes to passports. We're going to the Bahamas, which has no such laws about felonies." Okay, so update 6 months later. So long story short, he is not coming. He is now saying that he's afraid to get on the boat, or he has also said he doesn't want to be on a boat with my mother. Their split was anything but amicable. He's helped out financially, but not to the extent as promised. As I said in the original post, his money was not needed, but it would be and is helpful. My fiance, now technically husband, and I decided that we would have a small ceremony to be legally married here in Iowa, since it was going to cost nearly 9 times more to be legally married on the cruise ship. My father was invited and forgot to come, even after being reminded multiple times. So he just ain't shit all around. They end up having a ceremony in your state where you can actually attend in your country, in the country that you want them to have it, and then you don't even come because you forgot. Ain't that some shit? She said it really put where I stand with him into perspective. The actual wedding ceremony is just over a month away. Everything has been purchased and the final touches are being taken care of. I asked my stepfather to walk me down the aisle, which he tearfully accepted. I'm extremely excited to be spending my wedding surrounded by the people that care about me. Thank you all for your kind words and wonderful advice. Wow. Somebody said, if you really want to be baller, take a really nice picture with your stepfather as he walks you down the aisle and post it all over social media so your father and everyone else can see it. I'm petty like that. OP responded, "Oh, that's definitely going to happen." Shortly after the initial post, he tried to tell me he was about to lose his house, trying to get out of helping me. Not even a week later, he was posting pictures of his brand new 2018 Dodge Challenger. I just laughed and blocked him on social media. Damn, her dad is an asshole. I mean, he wasn't even there when she was a kid anyway. Like, what did we really expect? And you're a racist. And like, people like that, you can't give them too much of your time and energy because it literally is not worth it. It's not worth it. They're not going to change. They're not all of a sudden going to see the light. Just let them live in their delusion. Like, it's okay, bro. It's okay. You don't want to come on the boat? That's fine. Don't come on the boat. It would be much better without you there. So there was a somewhat recent update just yesterday, 7 years after the incident. She said, "OP here. After this, I went low to no contact with him. We spoke a few times due to my brother passing away, but it's been a full year no contact. I had a beautiful wedding with people that love and care about me. I'm actually incredibly grateful that he did not show up. Some interesting tidbits. He threw a fit when I told him I was changing my last name. He illegally voted for the Orange Man in the 2020 and 2024 election. He believes that I'm part of a radical cult because I brought aid to people living in a food desert during COVID. Take that as you will." Yeah, this man is like, people like that, they're beyond anything that you can ever do or say. Don't even waste your time or energy. That's hilarious, bro. Anyway, so the next story, my 23 female, mother 54 female, didn't realize how much I helped out around the house until I moved out and now she wants me back. I have a big family. I grew up living with 2 younger brothers, 1 younger sister, grandparents, and my mom and dad. I'm significantly the oldest kid in my family, 8 years older than John, my brother, the second oldest in the house. My parents never assigned chores to any of us growing up, but I helped out around the house a lot. I've just always been very cleanly and organized, and I never minded. I was always cleaning, vacuuming, doing dishes, helping cook, doing the family's laundry, etc. Nobody forced this role on me, but nobody really appreciated it or thanked me either. Again, I didn't really mind. I was just being a dutiful daughter and responsible person. She better than me, because we would have had to divvy up the responsibilities. She said, I lived at home through college. I grew up in my college town, so I just commuted. A few months ago, however, I had decided that I had saved enough money and got an apartment with some of my college friends. Apparently, since I have moved out, our family situation has become chaotic and my mom feels overwhelmed. No one helps her at all with any chores. She basically told me that she had no idea how much I was helping out around the house until I moved out. Because I was always doing stuff without being asked, she didn't really know who was keeping everything clean and just assumed it was a joint effort from the whole family. Now that nobody is around to silently look after everyone, everything is a mess. Everyone in my home has developed a string of messy, bad habits because somebody else was taking care of them all the time. She said it's my responsibility that no one in the family has learned to properly care for themselves growing up and wants me to move back home. Now, come on. She was being helpful. It's not her fault that you didn't have no kind of checks and balances or was paying attention to who was doing what. Now that she's gone, you trying to put the blame on her, talk about it's her responsibility. That's crazy. She said, I don't know if I should do it. I guess growing up, especially with my younger siblings, I was just always the default babysitter. I was just used to taking care of them, so even when they got to the age where they were old enough to take care of themselves, I was too far in the habit. I don't know how me moving back home will totally fix that though, but I do feel a little responsible. Nah, the mom is being willfully ignorant because there's no way. You can't tell me that this girl is what, 23. You can't tell me that basically from 8 to 23, how many years? 15 years. 15 years of this girl's life. You had no idea that she was the one mainly doing everything. You living up under the same roof. You see everything that your other children do. You see the things that go on. You notice things. And you gonna try to tell me out your mouth, oh, I didn't know. I didn't know you were the one. You wasn't doing it. So who did you think was doing it? Talking about you thought it was a joint effort. Ain't no way. Ain't no way. You just saw her doing it. You knew you didn't have to do it. And you just didn't want to say anything to mess up the operation. Those are your kids, man. Figure it out. Someone was like, that's crazy that she said it's your responsibility that no one in the family has learned to properly take care of themselves growing up. That was her responsibility. She just wants your free labor. Someone responded, this is it. Pretty sure it is the responsibility of the parents, not the kids, to teach and nurture. Someone else said, to your mom, tough shit. You are not responsible at all and owe her nothing in this. 2 younger brothers, 1 younger sister, grandparents, and your mom and dad. That is 7 people who can clean the dang house. My guess is it's either other issues that your mom is deflecting or she's lazy and figured that since she trained 1 kid, that kid would train the rest. For goodness sake, don't move back. If she needs help, look up maid services she can hire. I forgot about all the other people who were in the house. 2 grandparents, 2 parents, and 3 other siblings. There's just no way you really thought. Nah. Someone said a normal response would be, oh my goodness, dear, I had no idea you did everything around here. How awful. I should have noticed and then set up a roster so that we could all do our share. I'm so sorry. You really shouldn't have done all of that by yourself. You have spoiled us, sweetheart. You really are too kind. Here is a book about standing up for yourself and a big thank you present. Instead, your mom's response, we didn't know you did all that work. We will not thank you. We will blame you. We will not change. Now come back and be our slave. No, really? Someone else said, well, that ship has sailed. Your mom can't expect you to live with her forever. Just tell her it's nice that she misses you, but you're a young adult now, and this had to happen sooner or later. She can hire a cleaner if that's all she misses about you being gone. Damn. Final update 37 days later. I was kind of surprised by how much everyone's responses to my mother was a resounding no. It made me feel silly for even considering it. There was really no benefit to keep enabling my mom and move back home. Well, Reddit, I'm sad to say that turning my mom down was the first time I had ever really stood up to her, and it did not go well. She instantly, Steve, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. You cannot tell me that her mom was just so oblivious. Oh, I didn't know you were doing all this. No, you cannot tell she knew. Because her reaction to OP saying no tells me all that I need to know. She says she instantly started guilt tripping me, how she had raised me, how family was everything, how I was being selfish and abandoning her. When that didn't work, her insults turned more aggressive. She said I owed her money, the money it cost to raise me, put me through college. My parents paid partial tuition, the accumulation of rent for letting me live at home during college. At no point had we ever discussed this, etc. Again, she pressed that I was taking advantage of the family by not moving back home and helping out. I don't want to get into too much detail because I am still very, very sad about how this has turned out, but my mom hasn't responded to my calls in weeks. She's antagonized me against the whole family, telling my siblings that I did something ambiguously terrible and am abandoning the family. I had a phone conversation with my sister Rachel, who said something along the lines of, Mom said you did something really mean to her. She won't tell us what, but she said that's why she made you move out. I've never been really close to my siblings, but I'm kind of taken aback how little anyone seems to care that I'm gone. Recently, my mom put up a picture on Facebook of the whole family with me absent and captioned it, "The only people in my life I'll ever need." Look, okay, that's all you have to say. Like, okay, if that's how you feel, bet. Listen, I'm petty, okay? If these are the only people in your life that you'll ever need, say less. Say less. I will show you that you don't need me. You're right. That's the only people you ever need. You never have to contact me ever again. Please don't even think about me. But obviously, I grew up in a different situation, so I may react to things a different way. And OP seems to be enmeshed emotionally with her mother and the family. So on her behalf, that is unfortunate. She said, I'm trying to focus on my work and my friends to get through this, but I am in a very sad place right now. TLDR, my mom didn't take it well that I'm not moving home. She's completely cut me out of her life and is trying to turn my family against me. Someone said she's going through an extinction burst, stepping up the behaviors that have worked in the past in order to make you bend to her will. Stay strong. When you doubt yourself, just remember that your mother doesn't care about you. She cares about what you can do for her. If she remotely cared about you, she wouldn't be acting this way. OP responded, thank you for this perspective. I think this makes a lot of sense. I'm no longer going to reinforce her behavior, and I'm going to stop contacting her. I get the feeling that she likes that I am struggling to reach out to her and wants to make me suffer. Yeah, don't try to hit that lady up no more, because I guarantee once you stop actually trying to hit her up and pulling back your energy, that's when she gonna try to reach back out to you. That's how she's probably a narcissist. That's how they are. I've never heard extinction burst. I just Googled it. It says a temporary increase in the intensity of frequency of a behavior after it stops being reinforced. It is a normal, though often frustrating part of the process of eliminating a previously rewarded behavior as the individual tries harder to get the desired outcome before the behavior is finally extinguished. This can be seen in situations like a child's tantrum escalating when a parent is trying to sleep train them, or a rat pressing a lever more frequently after it has stopped receiving food. Oh, okay. Interesting. Learn something new every day. Someone said, wow, the Facebook thing would kind of seal it for me. I'd screenshot that, and someday in the future, when she calls you needing help with something, I'd pull out that picture and tell her that she should just call one of the other people, since that's all she'll ever need. No, for real, like you said, these are the only people you'll ever need. Lean on them. Don't call me. Someone said, if I were really in need of reminding what I meant to my mother, I'd set that as her profile picture in my phone. Another person, first of all, quit calling your mom. All you're doing is making her feel better by allowing her to give you the silent treatment. Stop doing that and go about living your life. Hell, unfollow her on Facebook so you don't have to see any of the stuff she posts. If any of your siblings call again, ask if they notice how filthy the house has gotten since you left. Tell them you were the one keeping the house clean and mom's pissed because you refused to come back home and play servant. If they get pissy too, block their numbers and carry on with your life. Things will cool down in a few months and you can reestablish a relationship with your family on your terms. Man, this was a whole 10 years ago. I hope OP is doing well now. I'm glad she left. Next story, am I the a-hole for refusing to let my in-laws name our baby? I told y'all these stories are just unhinged. My wife and I got married 6 years ago, and while I was initially against having kids, she convinced me, and we did. Her family was never really thrilled about me marrying her. They expected her to marry this family friend of hers, and they also did not like that I was Middle Eastern instead of Italian like them, and that I was a Democrat. What? I promise you, I have not pre-read these stories. I did not know these characters were going to be like this in these stories. I promise you. But oh man. He said, I did everything I could to try to please them. I literally converted to Catholicism from Orthodox, but it wasn't enough, apparently, because they still stirred shit up during the engagement and wedding planning. Anyway, fast forward now, and they're kind of tolerating me, besides some offhand comments about our house and not having kids, whatever. So we announced my wife's pregnancy last month, and they've been sending us Italian baby names, despite the fact that we have told them we are going for a name that both of us like, not just them. Last Sunday, we invited them over for dinner, just her parents and a cousin from out of town, and they make some rather racist remarks when we told them the names we were thinking of, and started getting upset that some of their favorite names wouldn't be passed down. No family members with these names, by the way, and that instead their grandchildren wouldn't have strong Italian names and would have some, quote, foreign nonsense, end quote. We cut contact for the last few days. So, am I the a-hole for wanting to name my children? Like, come on, bro. I don't even know why you gotta ask this question. Obviously not. And if we being real, these motherfuckers wouldn't be around my kid. Forget the name. They wouldn't even know the name. They wouldn't know the due date. They wouldn't know nothing. Unless they can get their act together, they would have nothing to do with my child. What do you mean? I'm glad y'all cut contact. That's the first step. Keep it up. Keep it going. So then some additional information from OP in the comments. He said, for all those wondering, yes, my wife is backing me up on this. She was actually the one that suggested we cut contact for a few days. The reason I think I may be the a-hole is because they're still my wife's parents, and I felt that maybe they should have at least some say in the name until Saturday. Someone commented, not the a-hole. I will never understand where some families get the entitled attitude that they should have more say on the name of a couple's baby than the couple. As long as y'all agree on that little nugget's name, don't worry about what anyone else thinks. But I hope your wife is putting up some boundaries with them, and congrats. OP responded, yes, she is. She was the one who made the decision to temporarily cut contact. Thank you. We're thinking of using my late grandfather's name as it was misspelled during immigration, which gave it a more feminine ending. Another comment, not the a-hole, but you and she better get into therapy ASAP, because the moment you agreed to convert, you turned your life over to these people and your wife is okay with that. This is going to be hellish if the two of you do not, and it will end your marriage. The name is the least of your concerns. OP responded, oh, I had wanted to convert since I was 17, but I did have to go through a lot of grief with my relatives after I announced it. Another comment, put them on an info diet. They'll find out the name after it goes on the birth certificate. OP responded, great idea. That's what I'm saying. Y'all ain't got to know nothing. You will not know when the baby is born. You're not going to know when I'm in labor. You're not going to know when I'm at the hospital. You're not going to know when I'm having scans. Why? Why would I give people like this information on what's going on with me and my child? No, absolutely not. You literally don't deserve the information. especially if you're going to be acting like this. If anyone is telling you anything about their pregnancy, it's purely out of courtesy. The only people that need to know is the mother and the father and the baby that's in the stomach and the doctors, but you don't deserve that information, especially if you're talking about some foreign nonsense. I'll show you foreign nonsense. It's going to get real nonsensical up in this if you keep playing. Like, what the hell? Where do people get off acting like this? What the hell? Someone else said, not the a-hole at any point. Has your wife ever defended you from her family? Her overbearing and rude family and their disrespectful comments are out of line. Her allowing them to treat you that way, even from the beginning, harassing you for not being Italian, is not okay. She's never effectively shut them down in their disrespect of you. It's no wonder they think they can lob racist insults and name a child that's not theirs. As much of a in-law problem you have, this is a wife problem. She needs to check her family. OP responded, she has, it's just most of her family is so loud, it doesn't make a difference anyway. Somebody said, let me guess, you're in the US and they are whatever generation Italian and don't even speak the language. Not the a-hole. OP responded, true third generation Italian. I'm fucking weak. Y'all got all this Italian pride and you don't even speak the language. I cannot. So there was an update the next day. It said, so since I last posted, a lot has happened. Last night, me and my wife read through most of the comments and decided that she'd call her parents and stand her ground. So during her call with her mom, the truth came out. From the moment they met me when we were both in high school, her family thought I was, drumroll please, gay. So during that time, I had mentioned that I had been sewing as a hobby and in the theater program and was definitely a bit more soft-spoken than most guys, but I was and am not gay. But they had thought I was just a fling before she got back with that family friend of theirs who she had previously been with and broke up with because he wasn't really that faithful. They slowly grew more bitter as they realized I wasn't temporary because they just wanted the best for their daughter. They were also upset for the reasons mentioned in my last post. I'm a Democrat, Middle Eastern, didn't want kids, etc. Anyway, not only did they think I was gay, which, no disrespect, I have a lot of LGBTQ plus friends, but they were also constantly comparing me to this family friend who is still single, especially in houses. When we gave them the tour of our first house, instead of being happy for their daughter, they made backhanded comments about how outdated and small it was compared to that family friend's new house, a new construction in a state where land and materials are cheaper versus a Victorian in our state, which is more expensive. Anyway, my wife hung up on her mom saying, until you can learn to respect me and my husband, don't expect me to talk to you. Exactly that. He said, so I feel really pissed about what they said about me behind my back, but I'd rather know than let the gossip continue. Oh man, someone said, your in-laws suck. Do they know the family friend was completely unfaithful? If not, have your wife tell them all about that and what a great catch he would be. No one gets to name your kid other than you and your wife. If they press and keep disrespecting you, they don't get to see their grandkid. Because if they disrespect you enough, they will say bad things about you to your child. That's what I'm saying. Like, you don't have a right. So really, any little information that they give you is out of courtesy, for real. So you better tighten up. OP said she told them, but their excuse was, it was only high school. I'm sure he's matured now. Oh my goodness. Anyway, from what I can see, there's no other warnings. There's no other updates. I mean, that was just freaking ridiculous. But let me see if I can just find a quick story on my feed. Actually, I'll look our subreddit. Ooh, we got a couple of new ones. So this is our little enzyme sis that posts in the sub pretty frequently. I want to say this is probably like the fifth posts that she's had in this sub. I'm laughing because the first line is, "Hey, it's y'all's dramatic bestie." That was just so funny to me. But yeah, this is from our subreddit, so I'll read this one just to like add a little extra story to the video. And I feel like it still may kind of go with the theme. Should I think it's weird of my mom to invite my cousin that I don't like to sit with us? I'm coming to see if y'all understand what I'm saying. I have to give background info to give context. I have a cousin that's a few months younger than me for most of our lives. She was always one of my favorite cousins. I've always noticed small things, but they were just that, small. So there weren't incidents that would raise brows, but collectively it's a red flag. She had this best friend growing up, and I assume that she wanted to run behind her so much because she thought she was so cool because her mom would let them cuss around her. She'd let them go to parties and stay out all night, and her big sister dated a well-known rapper at the time we were in high school, so I feel like that's why my cousin kissed her ass so much. Girl, what is going on in your life? Listen to this, y'all. Me and my cousin even went to jail together because I told her about how my ex was cheating on me and body slammed me. So we pulled up with some people and they aggravated assault. Case is over, so I'll say it. So it's not that she doesn't care. It's just that she would drop me for the best friend all the time. I remember being in middle school, coming up to where she lives 3 hours away and already having plans with her. But if her friend calls, then she'll cancel our plans, and that was a reoccurring thing. And once she moved to my city, she was on the phone with a friend, and the friends told her to tell her new friend, referring to me, that she said, "Hey," and my cousin said, "That's not my friend, that's my cousin." And reading this, you might not understand, but you had to hear how she said it. So I was like, dang, if you weren't my cousin, would you be my friend? And she told me no. Which is so funny because she always talked about how fun I was and how I get her. Damn. Sound like she don't like you for real, girl. I don't know. That's kind of mean to say. Like if you wasn't my cousin, I wouldn't be your friend. Like, oh, well, okay. I don't have to hang around you or talk to you. We could just end this right here. She said, so to the part that made me just finally really cut her off, it was my birthday and I was coming up to her area, which is one of the major cities in the country, for my birthday because everyone else had canceled, and I'll be damned, she canceled on me to go celebrate her best friend's birthday, which was 2 weeks prior. She had already went on a birthday trip and went out multiple times with her best friend for her birthday. And the main thing was Gemini season, and it wasn't even her season anymore. So I kind of felt away, but luckily my other cousin was able to come. The main thing that was an issue for me was that at that time, she knew I didn't have anyone else to celebrate my birthday with, and I wasn't traveling just to go do things by myself because we were young and I'm in a major city that I don't know, so I didn't want to be alone. And then she canceled on me to make plans with someone else, even though we had already been making plans together for a whole month. So I cut her off. Most recent run-in, one of my other cousins got married this past weekend, and the table that I was seated at had all of my cousins there, but the table that my cousin I'm referring to was sitting at only had the other family's people there. She did know one of the guys at the table, so they were talking. My mom got up and invited her to our table since one of our other cousins coming to the wedding, their seat was available. I didn't make a big deal out of it then, but it kind of irritated me because you're my mom, and for you to go out of your way and bring someone that you know we don't associate with and are not fond of to our table is weird. Yeah, somebody could have invited her, but like I said, our whole family was at the table. My mom could have left that opportunity for somebody else. So am I the a-hole for feeling this way? I get why you feel that way. I just feel like it's not that serious. I mean, it's just a kind gesture. Your mama just, like, she probably saw the girl was feeling left out or something. So she probably was just like trying to be nice, make her feel a little more included. The girl does seem like I wouldn't be friends with her. for the fact that she talking about some, oh, if you weren't my cousin, we wouldn't be friends. And then canceling plans that y'all previously made to hang out with other people. She clearly doesn't value the relationship that she has with you. Now, I don't know the relationship you have with your mama. Has she done things like this before? Is this like the type of person she is? Is she known to not really take your feelings into consideration? But at the end of the day, hey, it's a wedding. You had to sit next to her for a little dinner. It's over. So like, that sucked that your mom did that. I'm seeing it more as like she was just trying to be nice and make her feel included. But again, I don't know like the context of the relationship that you and your mother have. Did you ask her about it? What did she say when you asked her? You know, that would be my questions. Someone said your cousin sounds like a rude ass. Your mom can associate with her. You don't have to. Family will not just cut her off. She is still family. You damn sure do not have to be around her or associate with her. She sounds extremely selfish. Yeah, like that is a good point. OP responded, and she is. My mom wants me to kiss her ass, and honestly, I feel like she's used to her light skin privilege and getting her way. I told her how I was feeling about everything, and she told me, okay, well, you can come over and talk about it if you want. And that threw me for a loop because I just told you how you wronged me and you want me to come to you. Maybe I'm overthinking and could have drove to her, but I don't feel like I should have, so I didn't. That same person responded and said, I don't see it as you overthinking at all. I don't feel like you should have to explain yourself more than once. I'd simply tell your mom no. OP responded, oh, also, it wasn't even just this stuff that turned me off from her. The stuff I saw her do to others was just messed up. I would give examples, but this is long enough already. And then someone else said, you're not the a-hole. That's definitely weird. Yeah, I wouldn't be messing with the cousin at all. Like, I wouldn't be associating with her or anything like that. Sounds like maybe it was just one of those moments where the mom was trying to not make her feel left out and potentially, I guess, maybe not cause any further issues. I don't know. I wasn't there. So I guess like I said, it just depends on the relationship that you have with your mom. And like the first person said, your mom can associate with her. You don't have to. She's technically still part of the family, so she's still going to be around, but that don't mean you have to. It looks like you attempted to reach out and talk, and it didn't really go well, or, didn't really go anywhere. So, to me, that would be the end. Okay, whatever. Like, we can be cordial. I'll see you at the family functions, whatever, but I'm not finna go out of my way to associate with you or anything like that. Anyway, guys, let's go to the palate cleanser. I saw this video on Threads. It is a video of a gentleman on The Price is Right. Now, some of y'all may not know what that show is. It was a show where you spun a wheel and you tried to get a specific price on the wheel. And if you get the price on the wheel, then you get prizes or whatever associated, whatever, something like that. I wonder if they still air it, because the original host, I believe he passed away. Now I forget this guy's name. He's a comedian. Anyway, there's this video of this guy who is a contestant on the show, and he's just really excited to be on the show. And I thought it was cute. So I'll play the video.
My mom, my brothers, my sisters, my nieces, my nephews, and all my friends I met today on the way here. Thank you.
Thank you. 5 or 10. I mean, sometimes it's just...
It's okay. I'm glad I got to be here regardless of whatever.
Good. But guess what? You just got $1 on the wheel. Oh, my goodness. Whoa. See that? What a wheel round. You got $1,000. You're on your way to the showcase. Now you get an extra chance to take money from us. One spin, 5 or 15 gets you $10,000. Dollar gets you $25,000. Good luck. Good luck. Come on, money. Man, somebody's throwing 95 and 90 and then $1. $25,000. He practically centered it. Look at that, man.
So for anyone not or unable to watch, essentially he had 2 chances to spin the wheel. The first time he spun the wheel, he had to get like a 10 or a 5. I forget what the prize was. I think if he got that, then he got another chance to spin it. So the second chance to spin the wheel, if he landed on $1, which on the wheel it says 100, but it means $1, it's by cents. If he landed on $1, no. Anyways, that's it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.